So in the last video, we made our asynchronous request to JSON placeholder, got the users, and added that as a payload to our get contacts action. Okay, so now what we want to do is make our request for the delete and for the add contact. Because again, we're not just building a DOM-based application, we're using JSON placeholder as our backend. Okay, and again, I think this is probably like the fourth or fifth time I've mentioned the MERN-STACK course. It's a great course to follow up this one with, because we actually build our own backend instead of using the fake REST API. All right, so let's go to delete contact, and we're going to make this asynchronous. So we actually want to, and we want to bring in the dispatch. So let's say dispatch, go like that. And let's say async. You don't have to use async await if you don't want. If you want to use .then and put the dispatch in that, that's absolutely fine. But I think it's just a little neater looking. So let's just say await. We don't need to actually put anything in a variable, but we're going to say await for axios.delete. And I'll just copy this URL right here. And let's put some backticks in here because we do need to include the ID. So it's going to be user slash and then the ID. Okay, so that's going to make the delete. And then we just want to make our dispatch. So instead of just returning, we want to call dispatch, and we want parentheses here. Okay, other than that, it's all going to stay the same. So even our reducer is going to stay the same, because all we're doing is filtering it out from the DOM here after we make our delete request to the server. Okay, so if we want to pull up, actually let's just try it first. I'm going to reload, and let's make sure the action gets called. So I'll click delete, and you can see delete contacts, and it went away. Delete again, okay, and it's going to show us the diff down here, what was deleted. Now let's go to our network panel. I can never go just from Redux or React to console or network or anything like that, anything that's hidden. So I have to go to elements and then go to network. Okay, so I'm going to reload and just go ahead and delete, and let's check this last one here. Okay, so we get back an empty object. We know that. That's what JSON placeholder gives us back on a delete request. And you can see that the request went through. We got a 200 status code, so everything went okay. All right, so that works. Now let's do the add. Okay, so when we add, we want to make a post request. So again, let's add dispatch. Let's do async. And let's see, we want to do const. We want to put this in a variable. So const res equals await, and then axios.post. Okay, so post to this URL. And we can't forget the data, which comes in right here, so contact. So we're going to go ahead and add a comma and then contact. So that's going to make the post request. It's going to get the returned data into res.data, which is what we want to pass along. Instead of passing, contact directly, we want to pass along res.data. Now, since we did that, we actually don't need an ID anymore, because the response is going to include the generated ID from JSON placeholder. So let's go back to contacts.js, and let's, I'm sorry, not contacts, add contact. Let's get rid of the UUID. We don't need this anymore because we don't need to add the ID here. That's going to get put on and then sent in the request, I'm sorry, in the response back. So that should be good. Let's save, and let's give it a shot. So we'll say, let's actually open up Redux. Whoops. Okay, so we'll go to add. Okay, let's add, and he didn't get added. Let's see, what did I do wrong here? We're calling add contact. which is this right here, add contact. We're making our request, await Axios.post, passing in the contact. Let's look at our console. Nothing. All right, so it made the post, and it looks like it got added there. Let's look at the response. Okay, so that looks good. We got that back. And then we just want to return. Oh, I didn't do dispatch. I did just return. That's why. So we want to do dispatch. Like that. All right, so now it should work. So we know that the request, that went through okay. Now we just need to make sure that the reducer part works. So let's make this smaller because this is, I know this is really crammed, guys. I just want to be able to show you everything at once. Just say Steve, whatever, Steve at Gmail, phone number, and add contact, and there we go. All right, so now that's working. Cool. Now, we're going to have the same problem if I try to delete. We can't. And the reason for that is because if we look at the request that's being made, we're making a delete request to user/11, which doesn't actually exist on the server, in the database. So it's giving us that error. So we could just leave it if we want, because it would work if it was our actual backend, our API. Unfortunately, it's not. Or we could wrap this in a try catch like we did before. I guess we could do that. It's kind of messy, but just to make the application work like it's supposed to. Oops, not 3E. And I believe this should work if we go ahead and just take this and put this in here. And then just to also take the dispatch. Whoops. What I do? Copy the dispatch and put that in here, even if it's a 404. That way, at least it still gets deleted. Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. I'm in the add contact. Maybe I shouldn't work on courses this late, guys. We want to do this in the delete. So let's do, again, try catch. But you know, this stuff is, I mean, this is stuff that really happens. So I don't want to just edit it out and delete it, because we all do stuff like this, you know. Like I said, I mean, I'm a very practical programmer, and I like to think of myself as like just a regular person. So I don't try to look extra smart or anything like that. So if I make a couple mistakes or I do something in the wrong place, it's fine. It happens to all of us. So, and hopefully you guys can appreciate that. Most people do. So we'll grab the dispatch and put that inside the catch and save. That'll kind of clean it up a little bit. And let's try it. So if we add, let's add eggs. We have a contact name. Eggs, doesn't matter, whatever. And it gets added. Now let's see if we can delete, and it works. Okay. So even though we got a 404 response back when we tried to delete it, because it doesn't actually exist here, there is no ID 11, as you can see. We're still gonna dispatch delete contact and send along the ID and still delete it from the DOM. Okay, so that's gonna be it, guys, for this video. I will see you in the next one.